Hey guys, I'm here finally for my post game of the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Uh, the Pittsburgh Steelers get a very convincing win versus the New York Jets, and I gotta tell you, man, I haven't been that excited watching a game probably since last year. That was our that was our last 30-point game. Was last year, I believe, versus the two teams was the Bengals and Seahawks. But what I want to get into is um just how good this team did. Now, we started off a little bit it was a little bit rocky as normal. And the the team wasn't doing very good. So it kind of got a little worrisome there. It was like one of those things where I was like, okay, here we go. It's like, here we go, man. But in the second quarter, we were down. The Jets scored a touchdown, got a 2-point conversion. And then, really, from there, man, it just started taking off for us. We we were led down the field by Russell Wilson, and he had a really good game. He started off a little bit slow, but again, it was rust. So I was able to like sit there and like, I'm gonna wait to see how this plays out. And I did, and we just ended up really starting to take the lid off and throwing the ball down the field, opening up the playbook. And that's something we really haven't seen from this team at all this season. Well, hardly. Um, but yeah, I mean, just right here, Russell Wilson ended the game with 16 completions on 29 attempts, 600 or not 600. Shit, my bad. 264 yards, two touchdowns, and a QBR or a QB rating uh, of 119 or 119, whatever you want to call it. We started getting the run game going. Najee Harris had 21 carries for 102 yards. That's his second game with over 100 yards. And I love to see it. Russell Wilson had a rushing touchdown. He also had two passing touchdowns. So you put that rushing touchdown together, that's three touchdowns. And so yeah, three touchdowns from Russ in this game. Really, besides him just shaking off the rust, I mean, he had a really good game. And I'll just say this: they really did a very good service for those throwback jerseys. I personally think they should keep the throwback jerseys, the home and away throwback jerseys. That would be awesome. and had the end zones with the Steelers logo and the yellow grass on it. Is just that it would that would be awesome. I would love that to be the permanent jerseys. But anyway, uh, you had Jalen Warren for 12 carries, 44 yards. His longest was 10. And as I go down, you look at receiving. And we ended up getting Darnell Washington involved a few times. 4 receptions for 36 yards. He averaged 9 yards on each of those. Jalen Warren had 2 receptions, 15 yards. He had 7.5 yards. Afterwards, and 11 was his longest. And Calvin Austin, yes, Calvin Austin, ended up with 1 reception for 36 yards. And this one really made me happy. Now, I'll explain to this why. Calvin Austin, when you open up the playbook for Russell Wilson, he's going to get other players involved. He's going to spread the rock. And he did that. He really did that. That was one of the things that people were worried about coming in this game, not just because of his, him not playing for 6 weeks, but which version of Russ would we get? And I'm happy to say we got vintage Russ in this game. His first game, 267 yards, 264 yards. I mean, what more could you want from him? I mean, he came in here, did his thing. Pat Freiermuth had 2 receptions, 51 yards. His average was 25 yards. And his longest was 30. George Pickens. What a year it's been for George Pickens. It's been a little up and down. He hadn't had a touchdown going into this game. But exiting this game, he has a touchdown. Finally. But that goes to show, where Russ impacts the game for us. How he impacts the game, not only with his leadership, but his style of play. He finds the open guy, which I'm not sitting on here bashing Justin. I'm not going to sit on here and bash him. This right here is what we were supposed to get at the beginning of the season, but of course a calf injury ended up, unfortunately, sidelining Russell Wilson for the first half of the season. And we're getting ready to go into the second half of the season where the schedule doesn't get any easier. You got the Jets out of the way. That really wasn't an easy task going in. Yeah, they didn't have a lot of their starters, but look, it's next man up, dude. And every time, and I will say this firmly, anytime the Steelers and Mike Tomlin put on a show like this, I will gladly take it, and I will have every smile on my face. Now, obviously, we're not going to score 30 points or 31 unanswered points every single game. Not going to happen. But What I like about this situation and why it looks good is because the again leadership, how Russ plays the game, how he reads the field, and who he trusts to get a catch. There are some catches that shouldn't have happened in this game, especially from George Pickens. But George Pickens being an absolute dog that he is, when he gets his targets, I think that's what you kind of have to take away from this. Is that we know the attitude that Pickens has. He at times would sound like a brat. But I really do believe if everything goes together and Russ ends up playing well. Now, am I expecting Super Bowl this year? No, I'm not. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl this year for the Steelers, so there you go. But if this team can put it together, they can go on a good playoff run. It's going to be one of those wait and see moments. Like, just wait and see what happens. Like, what happens is going to happen. And the reason I say I don't call for Super Bowl this year is because injuries. Although I have to give the team just an all around team game where eventually just everything started clicking. And I want us to start off fast. And hopefully we can eventually do that. Hopefully versus the Giants. So, and off that topic of the offense, the defense, I think the guy had to first get off here first is just going to go out and say it. The game ball goes to Beanie Bishop on the defensive side. He had 2 interceptions, 6 tackles. Yes, he had 5 tackles, and you put that together with the 1 tackle he had before halftime, that makes 6. 2 interceptions. One of them, he did his best Troy Polamalu impression, just cut up the field, and nearly got a touchdown. So Beanie Bishop, man, just that was an absolute good game from you, brother, and you absolutely deserve the game ball. Who else can I really? Pate. Oh my lord, I did not realize this. And all total today, Peyton Wilson had 10 tackles. Holy shit. Patrick Queen had 4 tackles, or 1 tackle on his own, which I'm assuming the 4 is assisted. But you know what I mean. You had a sack by Larry Ogue in this game. He had 2 tackles. He had 2 tackles and a sack. But yeah, dude, Joey Porter Jr. had 2 tackles. Assisted tackles, he had 3. Okay, 5 tackles for being and 6 assisted tackles. But yeah, dude. And I'll say this: the impact off the edge that Alex Highsmith had in this game, just getting off the edge. I know he didn't have a sack, neither did TJ, but I firmly believe that TJ will get a sack now that he's got Highsmith back. They're going to get back in sync pretty fucking quickly, and it's going to be feasting for TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. Those dudes are going to try to outdo each other. It's literally going to be like your own version of Undertaker and Kane. It's like these behemoths are trying to outdo each other. And you can tell every time, like even when they get off the edge, sometimes at the same time, like they're trying to outdo each other, and it's freaking hilarious. It really is. But that's that Steelers football mentality. This game right here, this game right here puts in full effect of what the standard really is. That's the Steelers standard. When you can play like this, where in a full game we had 400 yards as an offense in this game. That hasn't happened since last year. So, when you put all this together, there's no telling how good this team can really be. You know, you got Cam Hayward, which is aging, but still, he ages like fine wine. Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, who is he's gonna be a freaking game wrecker. Larry Ogunjobi, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and then in the secondary you got Joey Porter Jr., Dante Jackson. And then after the bye we'll get Cam Sutton. Don't know what he'll look like when he comes back, which is why I'm holding off kind of putting him up there. But he knows the system. He knows our playbook. He's going to be played the way he was when he was here, which was his preferred play style. That's how he loved to play. Being on the corners, he was not afraid to take that big step, and wasn't afraid of the competition. I mean, when when Cam Sutton was here before he went to Detroit or signed with Detroit, he was arguably one of the most underrated players in the NFL at the cornerback position, because just with his ability. Now, not saying that he'll be the same player as he was the previous season he was with us before. But if he can do that and continue to show that, man, that will be good for this secondary. Again, our secondary isn't terrible. It's just playing back a lot. And it's hard now in today's NFL because it's more of a favored the offense type of league now, which absolutely sucks. It absolutely sucks ass. That's the actual truth. But you gotta look at it like this. We won today. And Najee Harris having 102 yards just feels so good to say. And it's convincing. We did it in convincing fashion. When those linemen got those blocks, Najee immediately did a stir step at the right time. And you can tell he emulates his game after Le'Veon Bell because that's how Najee plays his game. He's literally a bell cow. And when he sees that open space, he's going to take it. And he's going to fight for extra yardage. He don't, and I don't give a damn who he goes against. I'm waiting to see him stiff arm somebody so badly that he's just gonna snatch their soul and throw it right back into their body and be like, yeah, this is my yard, bitch. So it's gonna be fun, hopefully. Hopefully. Again, this is just one game. I'm not taking this as out of this context of, oh, well, we got, Russell Wilson, we're winning the Super Bowl. No, I'm not doing that. I still don't believe we're going to win a Super Bowl under Mike Tomlin. Or let me rephrase that. We're not going to win another Super Bowl under Mike Tomlin. Until he proves me wrong, which I want him to. Damn it, I want Tomlin to prove me wrong. As a coach, in this game, showed exactly how good he is at coaching. He coached like a man that said, fuck the damn undefeated record. I got a job to do here. And he took a risk. He took a risk with Wilson. He took a big old risk with Russell Wilson. So, and it was a ballsy move. This was a ballsy move going into week 7, but the Jets weren't ready for that, and that's a good thing. They were not ready. In fact, since this game, they got the game tape on here, but they don't have it on the full season of Russ playing because he hasn't played the full season. But here's the key to victory. Especially with these big games coming up, like you got the Commanders, Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals. Do exactly what you did in this game, but you got to start fast. You can't just let these teams walk all over you. And I'm just going to say this right now. As of right now, if there's one player on that offensive line that, besides Dan Moore, that has really pissed me off this season because just looks like the lack of effort. Now, I get it, this ain't his preferred position, which is why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But he has experience there. Going into 2020, the 2023 season, he didn't start, but injury forced him to go to the right tackle position. Or, no, it was sitting Chukwuekorfor and putting him at the right tackle position. So Broderick has experience there, but he's just played really poor this year. He's really sucked. And key word for you, if you want advice, Broderick, stay the fuck off of Twitter. Stay the fuck off of Twitter, dude. You're mad because Steeler fans are criticizing you on your play. Well, you know how you can make those go away? Play like only Broderick Jones can. And that is physical, putting defenders back towards, or pushing defenders back, or putting them on their ass. That is your style of play. And you got to use that, especially versus this New York Jets front or defensive line. You're just going to have to. You're going to have to play better. There's times where you seriously got beat by Will McDonald in the Jets game. Got to do better, buddy. And I know you can do it because I've seen how you play. And you play like a Pittsburgh Steelers lineman. So, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's not at his preferred position, but I cannot look away at the fact that he does have experience at right tackle. So I'm not going to. It's 50-50. One, he's played terrible this season, and the other, it's not his natural position. It's one of those things. But yeah, this right here is exactly just, man, just wonderful. 409 yards, 260 passing yards, 149 rushing yards. We have 4 penalties, but that's it. That's pretty much expected. What was the time of possession? We held the ball on offense for 32 minutes and 15 seconds. Compared to the Jets, they had held it for 27 minutes. Or 27 minutes. And that just it's a chess game at that point. I mean, look at this. Time of possession 32 minutes. 21 first downs in this game. Total yards, again, 409. 260 passing yards. 149 rushing yards. And yards per play was 6.2 compared to the Jets' 5.9. And again, I always say that. I always want to point this out. If you can take care of the little things and fix the little things, like they did in this game in particular, the offensive line was playing very well in the second half. Or in the second quarter, second half, whatever you want to call it anymore. Second half is the third quarter. But still, you know what I mean. I'm not here to say stupid stuff. The one thing I'm waiting for is a Minka interception. And I hope I get that versus the Giants. That's kind of one of the key things that I take away from the defense this year is that Terrell Austin isn't letting Minka roam around. Like, he's just having him sit deep in the field. Now, Grant, I understand. You want to try something different. But you've got to be able to let him roam around. That is Minka's game. He is a roaming safety. And what happens when Minka ends up roaming? Big plays happen. And that's how simple it is when it comes to Minka's game. Minka's game is he is running all over the field, not backing down doing a freaking back step and just stalling at the point of attack on a wide receiver, tight end, whatever you want to say. But if they could let him play his game the way he loves to, which is roaming around, do you think anybody is going to want to test that deep ball when Minka's around it? Minka is way too good to be sitting there wasting his talent on just staying put at one point and waiting for the pass to happen just to be there too late. And that's been the whole story about it. Let Minka play his game being a Roman safety and fucking let him do his thing. Watch what happens when he can roam around. Steeler fans know this better than anyone, especially as a fellow Steeler fan like me. I have a passion for this game. I watch what happens out on the field, and Minka hasn't been able to roam around. Terrell Austin has said we gotta let Minka play his game. That he failed Minka. Well, you're still technically failing Minka because you're not letting him roam around the field. And that can be easily fixed. Let the dude roam around the field and play his game. Nobody, unless they want to get picked off anywhere on the field, middle, left side, right side of the field, downhill when he's roaming. I mean, that's just Minka ball. And I miss Minka ball. Like, that's just it, man. They need to stop trying these experiments. Like, he's not a stand in one spot safety where you're going to see big plays. Like, if you have him stalling like a statue just to wait for a play, it's not going to go anywhere for Minka. Let Minka play his game. And that goes for Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin. You've got to do better. You've got to let Minka play his game the right way. And right now, they're not doing that. But yeah, I've rambled on long enough. You guys get the gist. And Monday, October 28th is the Steelers game versus the Giants. And now I won't be able to watch that considering it's on ESPN. I really don't know why they got the fucking Giants on ESPN as the... I get why you have the Steelers on there. I get it because, they're what, 5-2? Yeah, 5-2. The Giants are 1-5, if I'm not mistaken. That's their record, 1-5. They're 2-5. I was close. They're 2-5. And yeah, I really do believe if we keep the playbook open, like, we'll be back to Steelers football. Like, when we had the playbook open, man, we played so much better. And it's what us as Steeler fans have been preaching for so long. Don't just sit there and play conservative with like play action on a certain check down play. There are certain times where the Steelers went to check down plays, which was fine, like a curl route. We did it at the right time. And it's those plays in that particular moment that made sense. And when it mattered most, what do? We threw it downfield. That's what you need to do versus these teams that you're getting ready to face. Don't cower away from from the big plays in the big moment. Because eventually, and I will say this, eventually one day the Steelers will get back to that promised land. I don't know when. I don't know what year. I'll say their biggest chance will be another 3-4 years from now. Again, I say that because I just don't see us win a Super Bowl under Mike Tomlin. I'm sorry, guys. Like, he had a good game, and I will give Mike Tomlin his flowers today. He played a good game, or he coached a good game on Sunday. I will give him that. But that cannot stop right here. You cannot sit there and just be happy with one game. This has got to be a normal thing. But yeah, anyway, all around good coaching by Mike Tomlin. The players, once the playbook started to open, you seen Najee get his groove going, even Jaylen Warren. And I'll just say this: if Najee and Warren continue to play like this, I'm going to point this out and say it right now, and he has another 1,000-yard season, or it doesn't even have to have a 1,000-yard season, but just continues to play like he did in these past 2 games with 100 yards and playing smart and physical, sign him to a new contract. I will say that because Najee, for the past 4 years, or 3-4 years, yeah. Oh, this was his fifth year. We declined his 5th-year option this year, but I'm okay with giving him like a $22 million contract. Because that's a good deal right there. That's not stretching it out too much. Especially in today's NFL with running backs who do not get paid as much as normal. Yeah. If he continues to play like this, there's no reason you shouldn't bring him back because we already know they're going to be bringing back Warren. And that should be not even the secret right there. They should most definitely bring back Warren. But again, it's just week 7. I need to see a few more games from Wilson in this offense. And just this team as a whole. Not just Wilson in the offense, the team as a whole. Because in this game it was a complete game, and they made the 1970 Steelers very, very happy. They lived up to that standard of what those guys stood for. They did it in this game. Now, I'm not saying completely like that because nobody will ever be like this 1970s Steelers. That team was just different. Completely different in that draft class. Just going and looking at it. That's why we got a dynasty or whatever or just a historic franchise. The legacy of the Steelers has always been win the Super Bowl. Now, as you can tell, it hasn't been the same for the past couple years. But hey, that's just how it's been. It's just it hasn't been pretty for the past couple years. But I do believe firmly we will get back to that spot eventually where we will win and we will raise that 7th Lombardi. But until next time, like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.